I don't do that much. I am currently serving my second year in the CDC, so we are active on the board of directors there, and I just got, this will teach you never to miss a meeting, I just got voted as vice president, so so yeah, it's a really good group of people we got going on there and a great organization, so it's great to support. It's definitely one that's near and dear to our hearts as a family, so it's nice to be able to give back. And then Wednesdays, most Wednesdays anyway, we ride with the Ride for the Disabled. Not quite as active with them as I would really like to be, but they have offered therapeutic riding services in the area for a long time now, over 15 years for sure, probably pushing 20. And it's a service that a lot of people really, really benefit from in the community. And again, that's one of those just quiet ones that operates in the background that a lot of people don't really know about. But I think they've been occupying 5 to 7 at the Light Horse Arena for more than a few years at this point. Yeah. And then Fridays, I coach Special Olympics swimming at the pool. So yeah, I was born in Toronto, and I pretty much lived in that kind of southwestern stretch of Ontario for most of my life. We ended up here like everybody else did. My husband got a job, and we packed up our 2 kids at the time, the dog and the cat, and drove forever, it seemed, to get here. It took about 4.5 days, and we really didn't think we were ever going to get here. And we finally arrived, and we've been here ever since. So we just finished 5 years. It wasn't easy, that's for sure. Andre was working a lot, and as it happens. And we had a 2-year-old and an 11-month-old, and a really big dog and a really small house. So we moved in on the 1st of November, and as the truck moved away, the snow started to fall, and it really didn't end. It was like, where are we? And I paid a lot of long-distance bills that year. We were out walking around and meeting people, but it really wasn't until the spring following that we really started seeing people around town. People go into hibernation just like everybody else does around here. So yeah. And then definitely at the CDC through preschools and stuff like that as well. So we didn't really know about them until we needed them. So when we arrived here, our son was 2 and wasn't really talking. So on the advice of our pediatrician back in Ontario, I just called around. It's like, do you do speech therapy? And CDC said, yeah. So they sent a couple of wonderful ladies to our place, and we have since received an autism diagnosis and have been working through that process as a family. It's not really just your kid that gets diagnosed, it definitely is a family diagnosis. The CDC really was a godsend. We were here kind of by ourselves. We didn't really know which end was up at that point, right? And you really just don't know what to do. And then this organization says, well, you do this and we'll help you. And that is the best thing ever, really. So now that people are in school and we have a little bit more time and some breathing room, it's finally we have time to give back to them and really help them become everything that they can be, because they did that for us. I feel like we've been there and there's an understanding. It's kind of like having kids almost, you know what I mean? People that don't have kids are like, oh yeah, and you're just like, you know what? You just don't know, and it's with all due respect. You have no idea. But to have a child with a special need of any sort is it's heartbreaking in a lot of ways, especially if you have a child that is really struggling to get a diagnosis or to get services because there isn't a diagnosis at this point. We have a lot of kids in this region that have really complicated and complex development issues, and those are the parents that really struggle the most. So, in one capacity, we were really lucky. We kind of ended up in this place at the right time, at the right place, and got the services that we really, really needed. But I credit the CDC with the child that we have at home right now. We wouldn't have him if it wasn't for them. It's a really big part of the community, and the support, we wouldn't exist if there wasn't community support for that. And there's a lot of organizations that are very similar in this area, and I think this community is still small enough, like having lived in really, really large centers, that this community is still small enough to really be able to put a face and a name to some of these organizations, and I think that's part of the reason for their success. But everybody knows somebody who knows somebody, right? So, we have a lot of swimmers that have been swimming for a really long time, and they have, long and extended family networks within town. So it's definitely not something that people are like, nah, we don't need to support that. It's something that's valued for sure. But it's just kind of what you do, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know, it's become part of who I am, and some of those things that I'm just, they bring me just as much joy as, you know, they benefit from me standing there. I'm not sure that the swimmers would always agree, like 5 more legs, no! But, you know, just watching them compete and grow and learn, like we've had people come in that couldn't swim at all last year and now are some of our fastest swimmers. Like there's a lot of really cool milestones and things that are being given and taken on both sides, which is kind of interesting. We as a family kind of have this pay it forward philosophy, and we definitely had it paid forward when we really couldn't afford much. And it definitely has stuck with us. It benefited us, it kept us, you know, off the streets really. And so being able to give back a little bit when it's needed, and it is needed, you know, is just part of what we do. I don't think it's really special, but it just is, you know, you can see that there's a definite advantage to being in that position.